Every year, more than 1 billion people make one simple decision: Apple or Samsung. It's one of the biggest rivalries in business history. Two companies, two completely different philosophies. One believes in building a closed, premium ecosystem. The other believes in offering technology for everyone. But here's the twist. Samsung isn't just Apple's biggest competitor. It's also one of Apple's biggest suppliers. The OLED display in your iPhone? Very likely made by Samsung. The memory chips? Samsung has supplied those too. Imagine competing with someone while also helping them build the product you're competing against. Sounds impossible. Yet Samsung has been doing exactly that for years. So how does Samsung survive against the most profitable smartphone company on Earth? And why has Apple never been able to eliminate Samsung? This is the billion-dollar rivalry between two technology giants.
Before the smartphones. Today, most people know Samsung because of Galaxy phones. But Samsung started long before smartphones existed. In 1938, Samsung wasn't a technology company. It was a small trading business in South Korea, selling groceries, fish, vegetables, noodles. No one imagined that this tiny company would someday manufacture everything from televisions to semiconductors to fighter jet components. Meanwhile, Apple was born decades later in a California garage. One company grew by becoming everything. The other grew by doing one thing exceptionally well. Different beginnings, different philosophies. Eventually, their paths would collide. The iPhone changed everything. Then came 2007. Steve Jobs walked onto a stage and introduced the iPhone. The smartphone industry changed overnight. Physical keyboards disappeared. Touchscreens became the future. Almost every manufacturer suddenly looked outdated, including Samsung. At first, Samsung underestimated Apple. Its early smartphones struggled to compete. Apple wasn't simply selling a phone. It was selling an experience. Simple software, premium design, an ecosystem that made customers stay. Samsung realized copying Apple wouldn't work forever. It needed its own strategy.
Samsung's biggest advantage. Apple designs products. Samsung builds technology. That's the biggest difference. Samsung manufactures OLED displays, memory chips, storage chips, camera sensors, batteries, home appliances, televisions, even semiconductor fabrication. It controls one of the largest technology supply chains in the world, which means Samsung doesn't just make smartphones. It supplies technology to hundreds of companies, including competitors. Even when Galaxy sales slow down, Samsung Display, Samsung Semiconductor, and Samsung Electronics continue generating billions in revenue. Apple's success often becomes Samsung's business opportunity.
Apple sells luxury. Samsung sells choice. Walk into an Apple store. You'll find a carefully selected lineup. A few iPhones, a few Macs, a few iPads. Everything is simple. Walk into a Samsung showroom. You'll find dozens of phones. Budget, mid-range, premium, foldable, ultra, gaming, business. Samsung doesn't try to sell one phone to everyone. It builds phones for almost every customer. Whether your budget is $150 or $1,800, Samsung probably has a device for you. Apple protects exclusivity. Samsung maximizes market reach. Two different strategies, both successful.
Innovation versus perfection. Ask any technology enthusiast, who introduces new smartphone features first? The answer is often Samsung. Curved displays, 120 Hz screens, foldable phones, stylus support, periscope zoom cameras, multi-window multitasking. Samsung usually experiments first. Apple rarely rushes. Instead, Apple watches, learns, waits, then introduces a refined version years later. Samsung prioritizes innovation. Apple prioritizes maturity. One takes risks. The other minimizes them.
The ecosystem war. Today, the real competition isn't smartphones, it's ecosystems. Apple wants every customer to own an iPhone, a MacBook, an iPad, an Apple Watch, AirPods, iCloud, Apple Music. The more Apple products you own, the harder it becomes to leave. Samsung fights differently. Instead of locking users inside, it partners with Android, Windows, Google, Microsoft, SmartThings, Galaxy Watch, Galaxy Buds, smart TVs, home appliances. Samsung builds an open ecosystem. Apple builds a controlled one. Both aim for the same outcome: customer loyalty. Marketing. Apple rarely compares itself to competitors. Its advertisements focus on emotion, lifestyle, creativity, privacy, simplicity. Samsung takes another approach. It directly targets Apple. Remember when Apple removed the headphone jack? Samsung mocked it. When Apple removed the charger, Samsung posted advertisements criticizing the decision. Ironically, Samsung later removed the charger too. Marketing creates headlines, but business decisions often follow economics, not social media. The supply chain secret. Here's something most people never realize. Even if Apple sells more premium phones, Samsung still wins in many ways. Because Samsung manufactures components. Whether consumers buy Galaxy phones or iPhones, Samsung can earn revenue. Imagine owning a gold mine. It doesn't matter which jewelry company sells more necklaces. You profit either way. That's exactly how Samsung protects itself. It isn't dependent on one product. It's an entire technology ecosystem. The AI race. Now, artificial intelligence has changed the battlefield again. Apple focuses on privacy-first AI, on-device intelligence, secure processing. Samsung moves faster. Galaxy AI introduced live translation, AI photo editing, generative editing, circle to search, AI writing assistance, real-time transcription. The race has shifted from camera quality to intelligence. The next smartphone winner may not have the fastest processor. It may have the smartest AI. Who is actually winning? It depends on how you measure success. Apple dominates profits. Samsung dominates manufacturing. Apple has stronger customer loyalty. Samsung reaches more price segments. Apple builds fewer products. Samsung builds almost everything. Both companies earn hundreds of billions of dollars. Both influence how billions of people use technology every day. And neither company can ignore the other. The rivalry between Apple and Samsung isn't really about smartphones anymore. It's about philosophy. Apple believes control creates excellence. Samsung believes choice creates opportunity. Neither approach is perfect. Yet together, they've pushed each other to innovate faster than either company could alone. Without Samsung, Apple's supply chain would look very different. Without Apple, Samsung might never have accelerated its premium smartphone strategy. Competition created better products, better technology, and a faster pace of innovation. The next time someone asks, Apple or Samsung, remember, you're not just choosing a phone. You're choosing between two completely different visions of the future of technology. And this rivalry is far from over. In business, the greatest competitors often make each other stronger. Subscribe for more documentaries on business, technology, startups, and the companies shaping our future.